I think we can all agree that nobody really likes having a conversation about student loans. Now, that being said, I can talk about student loans all day as long as the conversation is really around Sofi. While we're not going to be talking about student loans this week, we are going to be talking about Sofi for this week's Watchlist Wednesday. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name's Matt, and before we get this video started, I just need to say, not advice, don't take this as advice. You need advice, speak to a financial advisor. They'll be able to help you, but everything I say here is for your entertainment purposes only, so do not make any investment decisions based on what I say here. Also, remember, like this video, it's a 5-cent donation to charity. If you haven't subscribed already and you subscribe, that is a 10-cent donation to charity. Now, I'm actually thinking for the charity, I'm considering doing United Cerebral Palsy for the place that I'll donate the money to. Again, all of this is kind of relative depending on how much money it ends up being, but I have a sister with cerebral palsy, so similarly to investing, I like donating in things that I'm either close to or have some knowledge on, so that's kind of my thought process for the charity. Also, you guys might see I have a guitar hook here. It's actually a ukulele hook, and I thought it would look kind of cool up there, but when I hang the ukulele, it looks kind of cluttered. So let me know your thoughts on that. I'll put it up so you can see what it looks like, and we'll just leave it up for this video. Let me know if you think that it does look a little cluttered with all of that in one section. I also definitely see myself whacking this thing multiple times. So again, let me know in the comments if you think I should just leave it. I also have floating shelves, but wanted to know if you guys like this or if it just looks a little too cluttered up there. All right, well, with all the housekeeping work out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about Sofi. Now, I have been mentioning Sofi a few times on my recent videos from my channel, but in case you're not familiar with Sofi, the name actually stands for social finance. The initial concept of Sofi is very similar to what we see in real estate with hard money or private money lenders. Basically, if you are a very wealthy alumni and you were able to pay somebody's student loans, the student would then pay you back with a more favorable rate than what was being offered either through the government or through private programs. So it was a great feature, but they have since expanded into multiple different forms of lending and some other financial services. They now offer other forms of lending, as I mentioned, such as mortgage or home loans and personal loans. They also have a cash management system with a high yield savings account. They also have their new brokerage platform, which a lot of people from Robinhood are going to this new Sofi platform, and they are also in the process of becoming a bank. So this business is really growing and separating or diversifying the ways that they're able to generate revenue. And they are going public through a SPAC with Chamath P. I'm so sorry, you guys know I'm not the best with pronunciating names, so I cannot say that one correctly, but here's a picture of them so you know who I'm talking about. Now, when it comes to the numbers here for Sofi, this is a very new deal still going on, so we unfortunately don't have like the typical ratios or numbers that we look at because I don't believe, or to the best of my ability, I was not able to find any filings with the SEC yet when it comes to the financial statements. But I do have a few key statistics that stood out to me in the discussions with this merger and some info that I wanted to share with all of you. So in 2020, they had about 1.8 million active users, and they're actually expecting to grow that to around 3 million by the end of this year, 2021. 75% of their revenue comes from their lending services, and the other 25% comes from a mix of both financial services and their technology platform. Not too long ago, they purchased Galileo, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a finance technology company that other companies, including Robinhood, use as well. But by 2025, they're hoping to diversify that business a little bit and having lending only make up 43% of their revenue sources, 32% from financial services, and 25% from tech. For 2021, they're expecting to have an adjusted EBITDA of around 27 million. Now by 2025, which seems to be the year they're focusing on, which makes sense, a 5-year target is pretty appropriate, especially for newer companies, they are hoping to increase that to $1.18 billion in adjusted EBITDA. Again, EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Now, those numbers, though, are actually if they don't have a bank charter. If they were to get a bank charter, those numbers actually change to 42 million for 2021 and expecting to receive around 1.48 billion by 2025, again with the bank charter. Now, the good news is they actually were approved for the bank charter. So they are in the process of finalizing that. And it sounds like having this bank feature for their platform is really going to help boost their revenue, which of course is something I'm excited about. The SPAC is going to give them a valuation of around $8.6 billion, which I feel is a very appropriate cost for this company, maybe even a little bit on the cheap side. Let's not forget, people, DoorDash has over a $57 billion market cap. This is an $8.6 billion market cap or valuation, so much smaller than what we see for DoorDash, but admittedly it's a company that I personally would feel much more comfortable investing in. And lastly, through this SPAC, they are expecting to receive around $2.4 billion in gross proceeds. So again, something that will significantly help their balance sheet. And as I've been kind of mentioning earlier, hopefully that money will go towards other business expansions or working on their brokerage platform to help increase those revenue sources. So now I want to tell you what I like about Sofi, because admittedly, I can't find anything I don't like about this company. They have all the basic stuff that I look for when it comes to financial services companies, like low cost, transparency, ease of use, accessibility, all of that good stuff, high ratings in the App Store even, because that's going to be crucial for their success. So all of that checks the box for me, so we don't really need to go into those details. Now, as I mentioned in my last video about if somebody were to acquire Robinhood, their brokerage platform at Sofi does not have a significant number of users currently. It's, I think, like 175,000. So that is something that I could see absolutely being a growth opportunity for them, especially as we've been seeing people are leaving Robinhood. And Sofi is one of the companies that people are taking their money to. Now, I think one of the advantages that Sofi has over Robinhood already is that they tend to focus more on the investor education rather than just like the quick trading and ease of use aspect of it. So it's still very easy to use. You can buy cryptocurrencies, you can buy stocks, and you can buy fractional shares. Just a minimum purchase of $1 is all you need to get into any stock with Sofi. But they also have some great information that investors can utilize to help become a smarter or better investor. So they have resources to explain, the difference between EBITDA and adjusted EBITDA, or how to find SEC filings, what each one are, the difference between a 10K and an S1, and will help you understand what numbers you need to look through for that. And now, that's something I've kind of been trying to do on my channel, but admittedly, I can't do as good of a job as what they have done, and they just have an ample amount of resources for the investors to use. I still believe that student loans is going to be one of the biggest sources of business for Sofi, but I actually see that as a good thing. Now, lending is a little bit of an interesting area because of how loans are bought and sold, serviced by other people, all of that good stuff. But I do believe, kind of as you become an adult, one of the first accounts many people have is, unfortunately, student loan debts and an account through that service provider. But that could be a huge opportunity for Sofi because a lot of people like to keep their accounts all together at one place because admittedly it's just easier to keep track of everything. I know from experience when you have more than 3 investment accounts, it's hard to keep track of all the different stocks, positions, cash, all of that. So keeping everything on one platform is going to be a great opportunity for them because if they're able to capture somebody who's either in college or recently graduated from college and say, hey, we're also a bank, so your paychecks from your new job can come right to us. And by the way, we also offer an investing service for you to help retain as much customers as they can. So I really think that starting off with the student loans will allow for people to grow with Sofi, as opposed to my first student loan was through Discover. I will never have an account with Discover because I had such a bad experience. When my loans were Sofi, though, I've refinanced a bunch of times because I like taking advantage of low interest rates. I loved the experience with Sofi, and it was kind of hard to leave them because it was great customer service, very favorable rates, actually like the best rates that I came across. And they just made it very easy for me to access my information. Now, many people believe that big banks are facing a huge issue right now with maintaining our trust with keeping their money with them. Personally, I don't have issues with the people that I bank with, but I have heard this from many of my peers about how they are looking for new banks because of, maybe they bank with Wells Fargo and don't like what's going on with Wells Fargo or had a bad experience with Bank of America. And weirdly enough, a lot of people are turning to these fintech companies. So again, I think Sofi is positioning themselves very well to take on these new customers, given their reputation of being an easy company to work with, low cost, transparent, and now they're basically all virtual. So it's something that many millennials or even younger generations will want to adapt to very quickly. So personally, I'm very excited for this company to go public. It's one that I've been eyeing for a while, and I was surprised it took so long to go public. But nonetheless, they are here now, and they are in the process of going public through the SPAC. So this is a stock that I'm very excited about. Now, admittedly, it makes it slightly hard to invest in this company because we don't really have much about their financial information, but the numbers that I'm seeing are encouraging enough, again, for me to keep an eye on this and add it to my watch list. We also know that Chamath has done a great job in the past when it comes to these SPACs that he's done. To name a few, we have like the Clover Health. He has done the Virgin Galactic, which was the first one I believe he actually did, and some other companies he's recently helped take public, which have done very well. I think his motto is he looks for a 10x company, and based on these numbers with them receiving a bank charter, I actually do support that thought process of it being a 10x company. So again, maybe not one I'm going to buy right away in my own personal portfolio, but absolutely one I'm going to be keeping an eye on because, well, first off, I love fintech companies. I think all of you know that. And it just sounds like such a promising opportunity for me. So I've already added this though to the Watchlist Wednesday portfolio. Let me get all of that pulled up and I'll be right back with you. All right, so I did buy 225 shares of this company and our average price was around $24.70. Last I saw, let me double check this. It last clocked in at $25.47. So that gives us around that $173 gain. Did I see that? Yeah, $173 gain, which I'm happy with. I think, considering I literally bought it this morning, that's a quick $200. That's easy money right there. But I really do see this being a stock that could be, I don't really want to put a price on it right now because I did that with a firm and was a little off, but I definitely see by the end of this year, this could be a stock trading well over $65 a share. So in that case, that could be a huge addition to this portfolio and can really add a lot of growth that this portfolio needs. Not desperately needs, but it can definitely benefit through some more growth. The good news is we only have 2 down positions in this portfolio. Comcast is only down less than $40 total. So I think we're in a great position with Comcast, and I definitely still think that one has a lot of growth to it. Again, I think that the numbers are just going to be a little slow to catch up with this stock. And as we've been seeing, companies have been reporting record earnings, yet the stock has been going down. Apple, like a week or two ago, reported like $111 billion in that quarter for revenue, yet their stock took like a $4 dip per share. So who knows what's really going on with the stock market right now. In case you're wondering though, Etsy did finally take the lead over ChargePoint for the highest gain in this portfolio here. So Etsy's at 3,447, where ChargePoint is at 3,400. So still pretty neck and neck between those two. And again, I like watching those two as a race. We can see BlackBerry though lost us about $5,000 since last week. Kind of expected. I thought that one would start to take a hit, but hey, ultimately it's still up over $1,000, almost $1,500 for us. So I'm not complaining over here. I'm still very happy about that. And again, as I've said before, this portfolio is getting kind of too big for me to read through every single position. So you guys can see it on the screen. Feel free to pause it if you want to see how the other positions are doing. But I'm still happy with the direction this is heading in, and I'm very excited to see what IPOE or Sofi can do for this portfolio. So a little bit different of a video today, but I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, let me know your feedback on if you think this looks a little too cluttered, if you think maybe like 3 shelves would look better there. I don't know. I'm open to whatever suggestions all of you have for me to make this a little bit easier for you to view other than just a blank wall. Also, remember, like this video, 5-cent donation, and if you haven't subscribed already, that is still a 10-cent donation. So it all goes a long way. I didn't say this earlier, but I'll pop those numbers up so you can see where we are. I think it's at $7.25. So definitely are starting to get more and more of this being contributed towards a charity. All that said though, I'm going to wrap up here because I have a meeting in about 20 minutes. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, and I really appreciate that. But I'll let you go ahead, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.